Video posted on Twitter appears to show the moment 4 U.S. citizens were kidnapped in Mexico. State Department officials say they are working to secure the Americans' safe return.
Rowdy Nation TV, welcome back to the channel. Do me a favor, guys. Click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so anytime I drop a video, you guys can be notified. This past week, 4 American U.S. citizens were kidnapped in Mexico. Let's recap this story and get us up to date to where we are now when 4 African-American U.S. citizens were kidnapped in Mexico. Let's get to it.
The FBI working very closely with other federal partners and Mexican law enforcement agencies to investigate this.
This happened in Matamoros Friday, about a 12-minute drive from Brownsville, Texas. The FBI says the Americans entered Mexico driving a white minivan with North Carolina license plates. Shortly after crossing the border, gunmen opened fire on the passengers in the vehicle. Mexico's president addressed the incident Monday, saying the Americans were there to buy medicine and ended up in the crossfire between 2 groups.
So I want to kind of go slow and dissect this story as we go along. Now, they said that these people went down there for a medical procedure, right? Now, if anybody knows like I know, or if you just, watch the news, we all know that Mexico is like, for the last few years, man, have been embroiled in a deadly war between cartels. I mean, it's been going on, I think, since Chapo's been in jail. And that's been a few years, right? So we know it's extremely dangerous, to go across that border. Me, myself, and I would never do that. I would never go over there unless, I wouldn't even think I would go over there. I got a partner from Mexico, and I don't even think I would go over there with him. He drives back and forth to see his family all the time. And to be honest with you, I don't even think I would go over there with him because me being an African American myself, I stick out like a sore thumb. And I think automatically they're going to think I'm there to acquire some drugs, right? That's the first thing that's going to come to people's minds. They're going to think that I'm there to try to buy some drugs. So let's get back to this story and see where it takes us.
This part of Mexico is under a level 4 do not travel advisory, the State Department's highest warning level.
You basically are playing with fire if you, as an American citizen, go into Mexico.
Michael Vigil is the former head of international operations for the Drug Enforcement Agency.
How dangerous is this part of Mexico right now?
The war in Tamaulipas is between the Gulf Cartel and then also the cartel known as the Cartel del Noroeste. Both of them are extremely violent.
He says check the U.S. State Department advisories before traveling anywhere in Mexico. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
See, just like I said, after listening to that, I just said that. That part of Mexico is under an advisory. Do not go there. You know what I'm saying? Do not go there. It is extremely dangerous there. And like they said, it seemed like these people got caught up in a crossfire between 2 rival gangs, 2 rival cartel gangs, right? Fighting over territory, fighting over drugs. We don't know what that conflict was about, but it seemed like they drove right into that. That's the story we're first hearing right now. But we're going to keep going on with this story because those Americans have been found, and we're going to catch up right now and see what happened when they were found, right? Okay, let's stop right here, and we're going to jump back into the story, and we're going to get back to what happened when these Americans were found.
2 of the 4 Americans who were kidnapped in Mexico were found dead today, while the other 2 are back in the U.S. getting medical treatment. Tonight, what we're learning about why this tight-knit group was traveling to Mexico. Latavia McGee, a 33-year-old mother of 5 children, was making a second trip to the country for a cosmetic surgery. CBS's Omar Villafranca is outside the hospital in Brownsville, Texas tonight for us.
So as you've seen in the clip right there, that was Latavia McGee's second trip down to Mexico for a cosmetic surgery. Now, I'm wondering if this young lady even did any type of research because this is her second trip down in an area in Mexico where the United States Department has says it's a no-go zone. It's a no-travel zone. Don't for Americans not to even travel there because of the violence that goes on between these two cartels, and how she managed to convince these other three guys to go with her is beyond me. I don't know why, or hopefully it was just for cosmetic surgery and it wasn't for anything else. But I'm pretty sure it was, because this is not uncommon. I did some research and they said that Americans spend $250 million a year in cosmetic surgery in Mexico, because it's a lot cheaper. Gold, any type of drugs that you want to get, it's a lot cheaper in Mexico, right? So it's not uncommon for Americans to go down there and get these type of surgeries. Let's get back to it.
Was the end of a road trip for cosmetic surgery. McGee, Williams, along with their close friends Shahid Woodard and Zindell Brown, traveled last week from South Carolina to Matamoros so McGee could have cosmetic surgery. This video shows the moment when they were kidnapped at gunpoint after being caught in a shootout between rival cartel gangs. Here you see McGee being forced into the back of a pickup truck by armed men, with others who appear hurt, also dragged and loaded onto the truck bed. Woodard and Brown were killed. Traveling abroad for medicine and medical procedures is common. More than 1 million Americans traveled to Mexico for health tourism last year, spending about $250 million.
Okay, you would think that would be the end of the story, but it's not. The American government don't take lightly to American citizens being kidnapped and murdered across the border in Mexico. That's something that the Justice Department does not take lightly. American citizens being murdered by drug cartels, right? Especially when they're not in Mexico for drugs. I mean, this lady and these three men were down there. I think she probably took them to offer the little protection or something, maybe for safety reasons, or to make her feel better about going down there to try to get this cosmetic surgery. But from all the reports are saying, they were down there just for the cosmetic surgery, and they ran into these two drug cartels who was having a shootout, and I'm not sure if they were being mistakenly identified. There's so many stories, man. So when stuff like this first coming out, man, because I actually heard that they were being followed for about an hour or two. So I'm not sure if that's true, but I also heard that they were being followed for about an hour, and then I heard that they actually were caught in between a crossfire, and then they were drugged from their car. They actually shot the car up first, right? So those two guys that got killed, they were instantly killed when they shot the car up. When you see those guys pulling that lady out and they're throwing her in the back of that pickup truck, the other two guys, they're already dead because they shot the car up, threw everybody in the back of the car, and then they went and did whatever else they did, right? So, but that's not where the story ends. The Gulf Cartel has issued an apology note along with 5 men who they say were the men in the video you just seen who committed this crime. Now, we're not sure if those are the 5 men that's in that video because the Justice Department hasn't confirmed that yet. But I think it is. Honestly, I think it is, for the simple fact that they're just foot soldiers, and that's a small price to pay to let those guys pay for the mistake that they made when it comes to the Gulf Cartel. They're all about their money, and like I said before, I believe those 5 people are just straight up, they'll take them out. You know what I mean? They luckily that the Gulf Cartel is giving them up to be arrested and let the Mexican government prosecute them, because they could just take them out, right? So let's get back to the story and let's read the note. I haven't read the note. I just want to read it live because I want to get my natural reaction to this apology letter. I haven't read it, so we're going to read it for the first time. I'm going to pull it up. Let's get to it.
Powerful Mexican drug cartel has allegedly taken responsibility for the kidnapping of 4 U.S. citizens and killing 2 of them. Now they apologize. Meanwhile, the bodies of the 2 killed are now back on U.S. soil. Derek Dennis has details.
A dramatic image out of Matamoros, Mexico. 5 men found tied up near a pickup truck in the same area where the abduction of 4 Americans took place. A handwritten note on the truck's windshield claiming to be from the Gulf Cartel, saying we have decided to deliver those involved and directly responsible.
It's not of any surprise that they are under a lot of pressure to put this behind them and try to distance themselves as best they can.
The abduction on March 3rd was caught on camera 4 days later after an urgent search. Latavia McGee and Eric James Williams were found alive inside this wooden shack outside of town. The bodies of their friends, Shaheed Woodard and Zindell Brown, found at the same location. Their remains were returned to the U.S. overnight.
The cartels in Mexico are out of control. That shows you right there who runs Mexico. It's not the police. It's not the military. It's the cartels. And that's bad for business when you have innocent people that's coming across the border from Mexico, because they spend a lot of money on these surgeries. And when innocent people get caught up in the crossfire and get kidnapped, that's an easy fix for the cartel to just drop these 5 people off, and have them arrested. They don't want the weight of the American government on them stopping their business, right? That's an easy fix for them. So we're going to read this letter, portions of this letter, so you can see what they were talking about. Okay, so let's get into this letter. The Gulf Cartel Group Escorpiones strongly condemns the events on Friday, March 3rd, in which unfortunately an innocent working mother died and 4 American citizens were kidnapped, of which 2 died. For these reasons, we have decided to hand over those involved and directly responsible for the events, who at all times acted under their own determination and in discipline and against the rules in which the CDG has always operated, the Gulf Cartel. Man, that's part of the letter that they, you see it right there on the screen, but that's part of the letter that they wrote and left behind with 5 individuals who they say were in the video who kidnapped those 4 Americans. Now, like I said before, this cannot be confirmed. The Justice Department, the Americans haven't confirmed that that's the people, the same people in the video, or if that letter came from the Gulf Cartel. I'm going to tell you right now, people, I really think that letter came from them, right? It's called business management. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know that they had an HR. The Gulf Cartel has an HR department, right, that handles this type of situations. Easy fix for the Gulf Cartel to put those foot soldiers and let those foot soldiers get arrested. That means nothing to them, right? That means nothing. Business has to keep going on, right? And now that's just part of the letter that came out, so you get a gist of what we're talking about, right? I'm gonna leave the other part of the letter on the screen if you guys want to read it for yourselves. But like I said, there's not too much more to offer in this story, except that the American government has now issued an advisory for spring break travelers, the teenagers and the people who are in college. They're saying don't go to Mexico at all, not even for spring break. They're saying it's too violent. The Gulf cartels are out of control down there. And I think the recent kidnappings of the 4 Americans just shed light on how violent it is right there. That just happened right across the border from Brownsville, Texas. And right before that, you people may not have heard this, but there's also, like a week before that, 3 Mexican-American women, 2 sisters and a friend. They have been missing for the past 3 weeks, almost a month now, and they're not getting a lot of publicity for their stories, right? That's pretty crazy right there. So, but if I hear anything more on their story, I like to even comment on that, and just to show you guys how dangerous it is in Mexico, right? It's very dangerous. So I really don't have too much more to say on this subject, except, Mexico's government need to get their stuff together. I feel like anybody and also for the people who are traveling down there to get these cosmetic surgeries, man, you need to watch out. You need to be careful. Keep your head on a swivel. You just seen what happened to these 4 African Americans. It was kidnapped, 2 was killed. It was an accident, but it's too late when it's an accident. I mean, you're dead and gone. You know, sorry means nothing after that, right? So like I said before, my condolences go out to the people, to the 2 people who lost their lives down in Mexico, and to the 3 women that are missing in Mexico. I hope they are found safe also. So like I said before, Rowdy Nation TV, click that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, so anytime I drop a video, you guys can be notified. We out.